The Spotlight, the place to be heard and motivated, starts right now. This week on The Spotlight, Alexander Dunlop and Viki Scudiery are here to share how the two of them joined together and founded, created, and formed the Source Cards as a vehicle for self-realization and self-mastery based on the empowerment of life through a standard deck of cards. Then, Destinyy Nicole shares her latest works in the music industry and performs her latest singles live on The Spotlight. And Chasity Feliciano is this week's guest co-host. Now, let's get it on and get this Spotlight party started.
So joining us as guest co-host once again is the lovely Chasity Feliciano. Welcome back as always.
Thank you. It's a
Yes. Yes. So before we get into anything, I want all of us to keep actor Jamie Foxx in mind and in prayers as he's still hospitalized after a serious health scare that is unknown. Details of Jamie's condition have not been disclosed, but a source close to the actor told TMZ that he needs all the prayers and well wishes his fans can muster. So, you know, it's really, they haven't said much about what his health issue is.
See, it's
here.
kind of tough, I feel,
Yeah.
because when he's off the map for so long and then comes back in and we have no idea what's going on with him, you know, I feel like social media drags it a little bit. I just pray that he's okay. You know, warm wishes for him and his family, and
Yes.
he overcomes that very soon.
Yes, we wish him all the best here. So, you know, oh, that's your part here. Yeah. Oh, so.
Well, thanks for telling me. That was great.
There you go. Oh. So go ahead, all right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Ayana.
Oh, go. Just read the telephone.
So sparks flew and the clip went viral after spiritual advice expert Iyanla Vanzant.
Iyanla Vanzant.
Iyanla?
Iyanla. Yes. Well, she shared her thoughts on the topic of questioning women's standards for men during a discussion with the Grill host Ebony K. Williams. In a now viral clip, I'm going ahead.
Just please do, because you didn't tell me this part.
Yeah, because Iyanla Vanzant asked Williams this question, and Ebony's response, well, take a look at the clip and prepare yourselves. Just fasten your seatbelts. Watch.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if
a bus
he owns
driver?
the bus? If he owns
No.
it? If he owns the bus?
See, that's the problem.
So let me be clear. First, I am a professional disruptor. So backlash is my business. And I will always take it on the chin for the sake of advancing the work, conversation, or movement. So know that I am completely unfazed by the onslaught of nasty comments, wishing me a sad, lonely, bitter existence until my untimely death. Now, that is some weird energy to be wishing onto a black woman, especially one who has dedicated her life to the liberation of black folk. But, you know, whatever. I guess go off. See, I wanted to talk about how do we close the gap between black women who do show up in a so-called masculine posture, those of us that are providing and building and protecting due to circumstances that we might feel make us feel that if we don't do it for ourselves, we will have to go without the resources and protections we need to feel safe in this world. But Dr. Iyanla went in a different direction. She asked me a personal question. And y'all know I have been extremely transparent about the fact that my life choices and my chosen lifestyle are far outside of the norm. So when I said that I would date the bus owner, a lot of y'all heard something different. Some of you heard the following. Bus drivers are whack. Bus drivers are broke. Oh, and I'm too good for a bus driver. The only thing is, y'all made that part up. See, I said what I said. But then some of y'all started talking about salaries and hourly wages, pensions and benefits. And that's wild because I was never talking about money at all. I was talking about black ownership, but some of y'all made it about money. I'm talking about ownership, black enterprise and entrepreneurship, because really I am talking about black liberation. And if you read my book, you'll understand why. So I'm standing 10 toes down on that position, and I don't really care if you're hurt or offended by it. And since some of y'all are already big mad, let me go ahead and make you incensed. So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
Can I press this? I just need to, because I'm big on women empowerment. I think that's very important. Oh, so you want me to speak on this? Mm-hmm. Oh, great.
I'm keeping my mouth shut on this.
First off, with this generation and the way it's been, it's ridiculous, the competition with black and white and Hispanic. Live your life freely and be who you are. It doesn't matter. Nobody should have so much anger in them proving who they should be or who they should date. It just makes no sense to me. And honestly, she spoke her word, she spoke her piece, and I think she's absolutely honest. And you know what? Honest people go a long way. She's not sugarcoating anything, and she's saying what it is. And there's nothing wrong with a man that drives a bus. There's nothing wrong with a woman that can do that. What's wrong with the picture is how people portray themselves and what they expect and everybody's expectations in this generation. But as for women empowerment, I agree. You should not settle for average if you're not average. And even if you are average, tomorrow you'll be better than you are yesterday. So what is the purpose? Growth and love is where it's at. And if you love the person for what they do, you're wrong.
Could you play the clip where Mark Lamont Hill responded to Ebony K. Williams' response to after that tier?
Yeah, we
Look,
had to see that.
Watch this.
We shouldn't be defining people by their labor. But there is dignity in all labor. Whether you drive a bus, whether you own the bus, whether you're the CEO, whether you're a worker, it doesn't matter. You're a human being with character and personality and ideas and interests. And that should be the primary thing that we ask when we're looking for relationships. Is this person good for me? So to me, that's more interesting. And if we only look for people who make the same amount of money, we're going to have some problems. And so when a lot of you are mad at Ebony for responding, it's not because you have some grand character. It's because y'all think black women should have a lower bar. It's because y'all think that black women should just accept whatever they get and they should just be happy to have anything. And that speaks to how we understand and how we think of black women in this country. And finally, brothers, with some of our outrage, we got to be honest too. You know, some of y'all get degrees and y'all get fancy titles and y'all get a whole lot of money. And you not only don't date at your economic educational station, a lot of y'all don't even date black women.
Mark Lamont Hill has a point, but aside with the Ebony K, if I say something about what we just saw from it may come out wrong. So that's why I'm keeping my mouth shut on this.
You're entitled to speak your opinion.
I
That's
know.
what this is for.
I understand it. But if I say it, it could come out the wrong way. That's my concern.
Okay, so it's better off we don't.
So yeah. So, but that's that here. So listen, We're going to be right back, okay?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
As personal transformation life coaches, these two came together and formed the Source Cards, a vehicle for self-realization and self-mastery based on life. One of them has been on the show before and wrote the best-selling book, which I'm going to show up here. And that helps you guide your empowerment to shine your brightest light and make your greatest impact on life as time goes by, based on the 4 suits in the standard deck of cards, which is hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades, as the primary building blocks of reality itself. So please welcome the 2 partners of the Source Cards. That includes welcoming back the author of Play Your Cards Right, A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth, Alexander Dunlop, and his wife, Viki Scudiery. Yeah. Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
I know, Alex.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited too, because you know, the last time Alex was on here, it was before the pandemic, 2019.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a while here. So how are things been? And also tell us about, because I remember reading some of the emails. I didn't get a chance to read the emails of the Source Cards, but I have been getting them because obviously there's so much going on. But tell us about how everything has been, and even during the pandemic and the transition of forming the Source Cards.
Sure. Well, I wrote the book in 2017, so it's about 6 years, and before that I was doing this work for since 2010, teaching people the real meaning of the playing cards, the sacred geometry of life. And then over the last couple years, Viki and I started partnering, working together, which has been a great relief for me and amazing and wonderful to work together with Viki, so that we can bring our energies together. And we feel like that's really important for teaching this knowledge, to balance the masculine and the feminine. That helps to bring forth the full meaning of what these cards represent, which is the space-time matrix inside of which we are right now. It's pretty amazing. It boggles your mind to think about that someone somehow, somewhere, figured out how to symbolically depict what our reality is and then put it in these simple symbols. Once we know what they are, then we understand our life on Earth. So it's been fantastic to work together with Viki.
Yes.
We just launched the Source Cards portal on January 1st, 2022.
Wow.
And there's a lot of great content up there. We have a nonprofit organization that we started to share this information. We want everybody to have it. It's so transformative and so helpful.
It's really profound knowledge. My backstory is I'm an energy healer, and prior to meeting Alexander, I spent about 25 years searching, wanting to discover everything I could about myself, growth, evolution, that was my goal. And then when I met Alexander, and in like 20 minutes, he starts telling me about my cards to play. And I'm like, you just told me in 20 minutes what I've spent 25 years like learning about myself. Like it's right here. There's a template right here that shows it all. So I started learning about it for about 10 years now, and now we've joined forces together, and it's so much fun to work together doing the Source Cards.
I mean, the Source Cards begins as a love story, right?
Yes, it absolutely does.
I think it's very important that everybody understands their own energy and what they give out.
Yes.
I feel like the energy you give out into the atmosphere is what you get back in. It's super important that you understand and in line where you lie and really what you love.
We're always feeling each other's energy, even if we don't know that
we
are.
Right? Or not knowing.
Even before we talk. Yeah, we're always feeling each other's energy.
That's
awesome. So this helps you to clarify it for yourself, so then you know what you're putting out, just like you said.
That's great.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I'm so amazed.
And also the key is that like we have different cards to play, right? So that's the whole thing. It's like learning, well, what's my card compared to someone else, you know, or what's my card compared to my kids or my parents or my lover, my partner, you know, like we're different. We have different cards. We have different ways of doing things, you know.
Different ways of
it's
loving.
all based on
Yes,
math. I just want to
exactly.
emphasize
Yes.
different ways of loving.
Yes.
Yeah,
But it's all based on math. I just want to
Oh,
put
Right.
that
Yes.
very clearly out there.
Right.
So it's similar in that sense to astrology, where the planets are where they are in the sky when you're born. Mathematically, you have cards to play based
Yes.
on numbers. So it's set. It's a preset template. But how you play it out makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yes, because you also say that in your book that it's also based on the date of birth, that we have like 13 cards to play here. And each of those cards represents different aspects of our life here, where we discover more fulfilling work, healthier, happier relationships, and authentic self-expression. Is there anything else to that that should be added to the list besides those three here?
I mean, that's a good list right there. But you already said it, like how you
Yes.
love, how you express
Yeah.
love, how you parent your child.
Unconscious hidden fears are in the
yeah.
cards, right there in the cards.
Yeah.
Life lessons and challenges are in the cards.
It's somewhat like understanding each other's love languages.
Yes.
I know there's a book that had came out,
Yes.
The 5 Love Languages, correct? And how do you feel about that book? Do you feel like
It's
it
a good
kind of like
starter.
contrasts
It's
with
a
you
good
guys?
starting point. Actually, there are 4 love languages.
4 love
And
languages.
it's
there
the
we go.
heart love language, the club, the diamond, and the spade
Oh,
love
I
language.
like that.
There
He
are
transferred it
actually
over.
Well, there are actually 4 love languages. It's a funny story. The guy who wrote the book, we looked up his birthday. He says in the book, and I like the book, so we do reference the book. We do like it. It's a good starting point. But he says in the book that everybody preferences their own love language above other people's love languages.
Correct.
We looked up his birth card. He made 2 love languages out of his love language. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's
so
a
he added
diamond.
it, uh-huh.
He preferenced his own love language and split it into 2 and made that the 5. So he did the very thing that he told everybody
That's
else
funny.
not
Not
to
to
do
do.
by preferencing his own love language and doubling it and making it twice as important.
So do you actually feel like he's a realist or not?
It's a great book. It really is
It's
helpful.
an amazing book. It's so helpful.
We reference
So
it all the
helpful.
time. It's just
Yeah.
funny to me that he broke
Did
out
that.
his own love language
It's
into 2.
funny that you peeped that and you understand what he did. A lot of individuals will overpass that and look past that, right?
And it's a great book, as we say. So it's
Overlook
very
that.
helpful. Use it. We're not knocking it. It's just that you can distill it down into 4, actually.
And the other thing is, you don't have, with the suits, it's like if you're playing, like I'm playing a diamond, right? And a spade. Spade is acts of service. I love acts of service, and it's in the cards already. I don't have to like try to figure out what my love language is.
You don't have
know,
to take
there's
a
no
quiz to
there's
figure
no
it
trying
out.
to figure it out. Like it's actually in the cards what the love languages are. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just about to mention that because, and for the 2 of you, because your birth card, Alexander, for August 30th is the 9 of Hearts with a 7 of Clubs personality. Yours, Vicky, is the 5 of Diamonds with a Queen of Spades
That's right.
personality.
Right.
So, could you elaborate more on the meaning of those cards for us
Right.
as a refresher? Because it's been a long time since the last time you've been on the show.
Sure. Well, let's start with the suits. Hearts
Yes.
is the suit of the heart, obviously enough. The club is a flower. It's a clover.
Yes.
Symbolic of the mind. The diamond, representing the gut, is the body, the physical layers of life. And the spade is an acorn. And the acorn is a symbol of the pineal gland, consciousness. So these are the 4 aspects of the suits that represent the 4 dimensions of reality. And then the numbers all mean different things within that spectrum. Like the 9, which is my birth card, is a ladder. So my energy in life is to climb up this emotional ladder. And if I'm playing my cards right, I inspire other people to come along with me. If I'm not, then I bring everyone else down
So
around
you
me.
see the 9.
And then
how
we'll
it
have to
looks like a
fold
ladder,
on poker here.
Yeah.
and you can go
But
up
yes.
the
Go
ladder
up
or
the
down
ladder
the
or down
ladder.
the ladder.
Yes.
So it's
That's
really
more like an H type of ladder, basically. Yeah.
But it's one of the reasons I love this toolkit is that it's a visual language. You can understand the meaning by simply understanding that this is a ladder. And how would you use a ladder? And if it's emotional, then what does that mean?
It's also mental, I feel. You have to be very, very in and out the box for things like this. I feel like, a lot of individuals look at cards and they look at playing cards. Like, this is all a game.
Yeah.
But in all reality, this is reality. And
Yes.
this is actually the
Yeah.
game is fits within your life.
It's a game of life.
So you got to know how to play it right. And I
That's
feel like this
exactly
is a
right.
great way
Exactly
of
right.
trying to show the world and teach the world how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And you can find your way in life by trial and error,
Right.
And you can read and study and this and that, and I did. This is the simplest, easiest toolkit I ever found to show me how to navigate my life.
Because if you see the H in the hearts, right?
Yeah.
How it goes across means you can go back and forth, go up and down. And it's your choice to keep going straight up.
And you said
Yeah,
the key part, you
that's
have
right.
a choice.
You have a
That's
choice.
right.
That
Correct.
people
Yes.
always
Yeah.
ask us that.
But
Nothing's
if you also
predetermined.
turn
You
that
have a
card this
choice.
way, there's also like, you could also see the eye there. So I could also see it as like, the eye is like, you're paying attention to what you're doing for your
Right.
own self, basically.
I like
So
that.
Wow,
self,
I love
which
that.
is in the middle.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're getting some new insights in here.
I like it.
Listen, this is why I get 20/20 vision in 2023 here, okay?
It's the energy.
He's shining a spotlight on the Heart Lab.
There you go. We'll shine the spotlight on all the cards here because we got more with you to discuss with here about this, all right? Viki and Alexander are both sticking around with more for us for more because we got more information about our cards, which is the birth cards and the personality cards, based on the standard deck. I'm curious to know because it's been a long time. But don't miss it. We'll be right back, y'all.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
We are back with Alexander Dunlop and Viki Scudiery of the Source Cards, and we're about to find out more about our birth cards as well as our personality cards too. And I'm going to begin with Chastity's and find out the real meaning and explanation behind it. So,
Darn.
All right.
It's fine. I
So-
can take the heat.
go.
Your birthday is November 26th,
That's
and you
correct.
are playing. Your birth card is the Seven of Hearts. Seven of Hearts is your primary energy, the light you're here to shine. So you have tremendous emotional intelligence, like expressing yourself, you know. Now the seven is like, can go high and low. Like see how the pip is on the, in the center is on the top. If you flip it, it can go low. So there can be where, there can be like, you know, high feelings and then maybe low feelings. Does
feelings.
that resonate with you?
Yes,
You feel-
that is 100%. I can be high, I can be low, and once I feel broken down, I will be closed in.
You will be closed in. yeah.
Correct.
What do you do to do that? Do you have ways that you?
Yes. So my strategies, based off of going up and down, I like to balance what my happiness is. So I do what makes me happy, and it could be the simplest song, it could be a rave, it can be anything that would make me happy to flip my mood because I know I have to switch it for myself. And usually I balance myself doing things that make me happy.
Well, that's amazing and inspiring, and you're playing your cards right because that's exactly what the Seven of Hearts needs to do. You need to learn what is it that flips that. You
Right.
know, how can you flip it, turn it up?
I think mine's kind of flip a little bit too much though. Like
Okay.
I can be very, very unhappy about something and do something to make me happy, and then whatever made me happy previously, I would just let it go. So yeah, it does make sense.
Right. Your secondary card is your personality card, and they work together. Like one shines through the other. This might be how people see you as a Nine of Clubs. The clubs, we just talked about the ladder, going up and down the ladder. Clubs is the mind, right? So you can go up in your thoughts and you can go down in your thoughts, right? So it's important to transcend your thoughts. Like how can you shift your thoughts to a higher level, right?
Right. So with my thoughts is very tricky because I'm more as a realist. I believe in what I see. I believe in what I bring out. You know, I feel like it does contrast a lot. My thoughts do go up and down, and I do balance it with my happiness. So it does make sense.
Well, they play together too. So if like the thoughts go down, then the emotions are going to go with it, you know,
Right.
and then like also the other way.
It also says playing the game of a 9, right? You carry the energy of letting go.
Yes.
Endings, graduating to new levels,
Yes.
and being of service. That's definitely who I would say I represent. You know, I love letting things go and trying new things. So I can definitely agree with that.
That's amazing.
Well, and that's what Vicky's saying about how the 7 and the 9 work together. They're both odd numbers.
Right.
People who have 2 even numbers, they're very stable. They're fixed. They might be a little boring, but they're fixed and stable. Both of your energies are odd.
Yeah.
So you're a catalyst,
Right.
but you're up and down a lot. You can be a little bit crazy, but then you're also the catalyst. You're the
100%.
fun one that brings the spark in.
Right. And I can agree, sometimes I can be unstable mentally because of that. You know, it causes my happiness to draw up and down in what I really want, between what I want and what I need. And those are the big 2 obstacles that we try to fight in this world nowadays, like with ourselves. What we want, what we need. So I
Well,
agree.
with you and for all of us, it's all about how we play it.
Right.
And so we mentioned earlier about having the clarity to see these patterns. So seeing your 7 go up and down, or seeing your 9 go down and up this ladder, you can watch that. You can start to notice, oh look, there's my feelings going down again. There's my mind going up and down again. And then you can detach from that, kind of like in a Buddhist sense. You can be mindful and watching how this happens, and then it doesn't flip you around quite as much.
That's
The energy doesn't control you.
Right. You control the
it.
energy. I love that.
Yes.
That's
I
great.
wanted to ask about where you mentioned about a person having 2 odd numbers and 2 even numbers within their cards. But what is like the likelihood of if a person has like an even number and an odd number within the cards, and then what would the outcome be here? Because it could be very rare, but if that were the case, what would be the how would that work here?
That's a perfect segue.
Oh,
Because
right.
you have a 9 of clubs as your birth card.
Exactly.
And you knew that already. And the 4
Yeah,
of
I have
clubs.
the information in front of me as well.
You're
That
going
was
to
a good.
step
That
ahead.
was a good leading question.
Yes.
You led right into it, because you do have an odd number, the 9, as your
Yes.
birth card, and then you have an even, the 4 of clubs, as your personality.
Yes.
So you have a balance of both. The 9 being a catalyst of knowledge, a thought leader, where you're very curious, and this would apply to you as well. You're always thinking about new things. I like to tell people with this card that you think about things to the 9s. You might not be able to turn your mind off sometimes.
Right. I agree.
But that same energy of thinking about things to the 9s means you create breakthroughs. You come up with new ideas, a new way to do things.
And that's how I keep my eyes open as well.
Right? And then your personality as a 4 of clubs is another mental energy, and this is mental stability. So then you don't drive yourself quite so crazy, because you have this stable mindset working with you as well.
Yes.
Where you like to organize everything. You've got your cue cards, you got everything well organized here today. You're organizing the whole show.
Thank you for the crew as well here.
You know, but
That's it.
this box,
But yes.
this box shape energy, you like to keep everything well ordered and well organized.
That's right.
And there's a stability there.
I feel like I'm about to cry already here.
How would we really, like, if someone asked us, you know, hey, my birthday is this, how would we be able to identify or tell them what they are without actually learning the full astrology of what you do here?
Well, there's a couple of ways. I mean, there's free readings on our website, thesourcecards.com. You just put your birthday in and you can get the reading, and you have some of that on the card there in front of you. The other thing that's fascinating to us is that we've been doing it so long, we can almost tell what people's cards are just based on how they look.
Wow.
And we play a fun little game when we're watching movies. We'll pause and we'll guess who the actors' cards are.
Did I look like my card?
No, sorry.
Damn.
Sometimes we can get it.
Sometimes. Well, at least I tried, right? I wanted to see if that was specific.
But to answer your question, they can go to the website and put in their birthday.
The website is so much fun. You can just look everybody up. You can look up your whole family and all your friends, and then like see how accurate it is and see what, you know.
Yes. I didn't get a chance in our last segment to talk about your birth cards, Viki, because you play the 5 of diamonds with a Queen of Spades personality. Could you elaborate on those cards?
So the 5 is out of the box, and diamonds represent what I value, what you value most in life. So I value like out of the box kinds of things, like the source cards, like an ancient system of knowledge that's based on the regular deck of playing cards. That would be a 5 of diamonds thing, right? So, and that's what I've been like that my whole life. I always like different things. I like unusual jewelry. I like one-of-a-kind things. I like to do things differently, you know. The Queen of Spades. The Queen is about perfection, beauty. Spades is about consciousness, being tuned into consciousness. Spades also represent being like worker bees. And on the low side, the Queen of Spades can get like too boxed into the perfection thing. So that's like one of my things of like, oh, everything's got to be perfect, you know, and like hurting hurting myself over that, as opposed to like, we are perfect being an imperfect human being. Like, we are not perfect being human. We are imperfect.
Right.
Yes.
And
that's
that's
what makes
perfect.
us perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
Do you have children?
It's almost something similar to my birth cards. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. I was just interested.
Yeah,
we have 2 teenagers.
Yeah, but we could continue more for sure because we gotta go. Because Viki and Alexander are both still sticking on with us for more. So we'll be right back. All right.
Put the keys down, Kevin. But I'm gonna drive home. There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I've taken 25 selfies in the last 10 minutes.
26.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
So we are back with Alexander Dunlop and Viki Scudiery of the Source Cards here, and I still have Alexander's good book here, you know.
Good book.
Yes. Chasity, you had a question you want to ask.
Yes, I have a question. Play your cards right now. But my question is, you beautiful people have children, correct? Do you have children separate or together?
I have 2 children from my first marriage.
Got it.
I'm the bonus mom.
You're the bonus mom. I love that.
Yes.
And what can you describe as for your children?
In terms of their cards?
In terms of their cards. Like, do you feel that it matches their personality?
Absolutely. And we utilize it all the time, and they love the fact, my daughter especially, that they know their cards to play. And as a parent, it helps me so much, because then I'm not unconsciously trying to make them do things the way I would do it.
Right.
But I'm supporting them to play their cards right, to do it their way.
It's kind of like a parent manipulation, a little bit. What would you think?
Or like a one-on-one conversation.
The non-manipulation.
Correct.
Because you're not actually manipulating them anymore.
Because it is the truth.
It's the truth of who they are.
But it kind of gives them a way of understanding life in a fun way.
Totally.
Yes, right?
Totally.
So I say manipulation because, you know, based on the generation and how it is and how children are being raised, you know, I'm not a mom yet, but I do know what it is and I do understand what it is to raise a child. So with that being said and how the generation works, do you feel like you manipulate them a little bit with the cards?
No,
like
no,
you
the
should
opposite.
do this.
It's the opposite, as
Yeah,
I
that's
said.
what I feel too. It's like, so like I might be, if I didn't know the cards, I might be like, well, you know, this is the way you do this in life. But knowing the cards, it's like, wait a minute, that's the way I would do this in life, not the way my daughter would do this in life. Like, you know, she's got a different card, or my son has a different card. Like, it's just allowing them to be who they are, and I'm not putting any of my stuff on them because we know they're
You think they like it so much that now they're teaching their friends how to do it?
They are.
They know all their friends' birthdays. Well, she does for sure.
That's great. And you have a son as well?
Yes, our son is 15, our daughter is almost 17. Our son is born to play the ace of diamonds. He loves to ace things. He loves to be number one, be the best at whatever he does. And it's funny, he has this rivalry that he has with his big sister. He's always trying to one-up her and do it better than her. And it's funny to watch. And then at other times, she doesn't like it. She's like, leave me alone. I don't need this right now. And then for me, I can just sit back and watch. I'm like, oh, look at him. He's doing his ace thing
It's
right now.
totally
She's
like it's
probably
innate for
more
him.
into it though, right?
Oh,
Because she's a
yes, she
female
loves it.
and she's older,
Yes.
maybe.
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
And
That's
she's
amazing.
born to play the 5 of diamonds, so she and Viki resonate. They're on the same wavelength.
We're
They
like
have
two
the same-
peas in a pod.
They
Yeah,
have the
we
same
really.
cards to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of the 5 of diamonds, but the Queen of Spades, you were showing me during the break about what the Queen of Spades looks like, because this is something, I'm just going to hold this up, because this is something that I don't remember seeing this before here, but could you tell us about this?
Yeah, so actually Alexander has taken all the numbers off the cards to show the patterns. And then for the queen, he's taken off the actual queen picture.
Yes.
And this is what the pip pattern, these are the pips, these little like individual, right?
You
That's
wouldn't
called a
even
pip.
notice that without
Yeah.
the number and the actual queen being on
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
So this would be the pattern of a queen, like this box shape. You know, this perfectly symmetry.
Want to be
you know,
perfect,
kind of-
want to be a queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of makes a lot of sense.
So the queen is simply the anthropomorphic representation of this pattern, which is everything has got to be lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yes. So I want to briefly go into, like, you know, because I've received emails from like Viki at times where, because this is something that really got me interested.
Okay.
It's like when you see someone else who has exactly what you want, they tend to question ourselves. How do you feel when we observe someone else with the exact same success? And if you're yearning for a life partner and you see a happy couple, what feelings come out here? And this is so many, there's like 4 questions here. And then we have to think to ourselves in response, do we get angry and resentful because you have what they have and you don't have it yourself, basically? So, or if we, well, this isn't all of the above. I'm trying to, and if we feel jealous, bitter, and cynical towards life. So, like, basically, from all this is like, I'm trying to figure out the question I'm trying to ask, because it's like, if we tend to go through this, what is it that we should, like, try to break through with this and going through all those cards here?
So it's really a matter of perspective. So it's like, first of all, becoming aware of ourselves. Like, if there's something you want in your life and you want to manifest, you want to create that, you want a life partner, you want a job that's fulfilling, and you don't have it, and you see somebody else who has it. If you get resentful, jealous, angry, depressed, you know, that's your response to it. But then how can you shift yourself out of that? Because you're going to get more of that when you feel that way.
Right, because
the
when you
only,
give out.
That's right.
The only way to change it is to change your perspective of seeing that. So when you see it, you're inspired by it and you're like, I want that too. I'm seeing it. That's a good sign because I'm seeing it. And I can manifest that as well. It's like having that, you know, that confidence that you can do it as well, you know?
Right.
And using it as a tool in some ways that, like, you can create that by starting to see that as an inspiration instead.
Correct.
You know, I remember before I met Alexander, I was like, I'm done. I really wanted to meet someone, and I would feel really sad. I'd be like, oh, like, am I ever going to meet somebody? And I wanted kids, you know. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to focus on the people I know who have been married for 30 years happily, and that's it. Like, I'm, you know, and I started to be around that more and be inspired by it more. And I would like, oh, wow, this feels so good to be with them. And I, you know, like, my energy shifted as a result of that. And then I manifest what I want.
How did you guys meet?
At a cafe.
Nice.
She was sitting there by herself one day, and I went up and talked to her.
Really?
Yes.
How great is that? And your sign?
Gemini.
Wow. And yours?
I don't even go by that. I go by the cards.
Yeah.
What's your sign though? Before you went by the cards, there were signs.
Yeah.
So tell me what's your sign. Oh, that explains.
But now in astrology books, we're apparently a terrible match.
Apparently, correct. But you do
but
balance.
in the cards, we're a perfect match. That's why the cards are a better tool for a relationship.
But that's why they say opposites attract. Because you balance each other out, and you guys are pretty opposite.
We
but
are
you
opposites
balance.
in some ways.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. You hit it right on here. Ay, Shawamba. But listen, you know, but that's the thing about it here, because, you know, we all learn lessons about life and everything else, and even when we meet each other or anyone else and everything else here. But is there anything else that's missing that we should add to this, or?
Anything you would like to say?
I don't know. I mean, how much time do you have?
Oh, I'm getting the clue. We don't have enough time. I'm sorry.
I want to say that, like, I am so happy. I'm a happier person because I am embodying and empowering myself in knowing my cards to play. Right. It is confirmed, like, who I am, and now I can go out into the world and be that. You know, like it's an amazing tool and guidance. Like, it just really has transformed my life to know my cards, and I want to shout it from the rooftops and like tell everybody about their cards because of how much it's helped me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you're giving out a lot of great energy, and I feel it here at the table.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, I'm.
What about me? Am I giving you
listen. Both of you are good.
She's the spotlight here.
No.
I'm the lucky one.
No, you're great. You're the realist as well. You come to your
How about
senses.
we put it this way? All three of you are the luckiest and the realist here, and the two of you have got to come back here because it's not enough time.
We'd love to.
It's not enough time, you know.
to.
But listen, our special thanks to Viki Scudiery and Alexander Dunlop for joining us on set and for this awesome transformation information session. Please be sure to check out their website on the source cards at thesourcecards.com, and also be sure to check out and read Alexander Dunlop's best-selling book of 2017 or whatever year you're in, Play Your Cards Right, A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth. Your life transformations will be filled with comfort, joy, and a lot more positive things in the future ahead. Thank you, guys, and we'll be right back.
The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Born and raised in the Bronx, New York, she found her voice and a passion for being a singer, songwriting artist. She then later in her life decided to move back to New York City to start her social media presence and become a viral, sensational star.
Now she has made several new EP singles and a title called To Be Continued out on all streaming platforms. So please welcome the lovely and talented singer-songwriter who is continuing her journey, as the title says it, Destinyy Nicole! Yes! Woo! Oh, my goodness. Listen, you know, you were just, I remember, so how's everything, you know?
Everything's great.
Great. We're so glad you're here because, you know, the last time I saw you, you were performing at SOBs here in New York City here, and she had, let me tell you, she's the golden girl right here, you know? So just tell us about, let's start with that, your experience performing at SOBs, and like, how did that wear you to where you are today, even finding your voice here?
So that came about, I know this guy, he's very, very, very big in the industry. His name is Jay Hatch. He connected me with Zach and Major Stage, and I know that Zach, handles Major Stage and SOBs and stuff like that. So when they told me, why don't you come perform at SOBs, I was like, I'm jumping right on it. Like, at the end of the year 2022, I was like, I have to perform at SOBs for 2023. Like, that's gonna set everything off. And when he told me, like, literally in January, he was like, we're gonna see if we can get you at SOBs. We're gonna see. And then that's when it happened, and I was just like, God is good. Like, that's manifestation, that's God, that's just, is destiny.
So yeah, so let's just talk about, because over the past years, you've been on the auditions from like the X Factor, The Voice, American Idol, too many shows.
Yeah, too many to name.
Like, tell us that experience and like, go ahead.
I was young when, I did those. I was like probably like 14, 15.
2014, 2015?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, my mom knew that, I wanted to sing my entire life. So it was just like I was in middle school singing. Like before middle school, I was in plays. So it was just like I knew that this was what I wanted to do, and she just like picked up on it and was just like, we have to get you somewhere. So my first one was America's Got Talent, then we did X Factor, and then American Idol.
And what would you say is your favorite?
They're all different. I can't say which one is my favorite because they were all different experiences, and it was like different levels of like, my artistry at the time.
Well, it's an amazing and a blessing to have a mom that's going to be pushing you in your goals and your inspirations. That's amazing, and I know she led you a long way.
She's my #1 fan. Like,
that's
she's
amazing.
And there she is, right there,
Hey, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Great, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to ask, who is right now one of your major inspirations for your singing?
Oh my God, I have a few. I have Janae, Whitney, Celine. They were always, growing up,
right.
My mom would always play freestyle music, like Susie, who else? Whitney, Mariah Carey.
We all thought we were Mariah Carey,
Listen, girl. Listen, I love me some Celine Dion, though. You can't.
Yeah, Celine Dion really hits notes. You know what?
Oh my God.
And even with them being inspirations to you, what would you want to inspire upcoming artists as well, and young women nowadays in this generation that want to get into the field of being a songwriter and a singer? What would you recommend saying?
I would recommend protect your energy everywhere you go. Like, this industry is very cutthroat, very dog-eat-dog world,
Right.
especially for women. So stand your ground, be patient, be graceful, and just, I don't know how to say it, but just like, don't take no for an answer, because you're gonna get a million no's before you get that one yes, and that's gonna open many doors. So just don't give up and just keep going. Don't let nobody tell you whatever they think. It doesn't matter, honestly speaking. If you feel like what your craft is doing is gonna help someone else, keep doing it.
And speak and sing from the heart, right? Write from the heart. It's very important. That's amazing.
Yes, let's talk about your singles here, because you released an EP, To Be Continued, and 2 of the songs I'm looking forward to hearing about in a moment here, which is but tell us about the process of creating that EP and the singles behind it here, and everything else.
Honestly speaking, they were like more experiments, because I had just, in 2018, I had just decided to take it seriously. So that's when I actually started creating the EP. I didn't start like putting it out until probably like 3 years ago.
Right.
But the creative process was just like going in, talking to the producer. He's asking me, what do you want? What are you feeling? How are you feeling? And I would just be like, well, I'm feeling happy, or I'm feeling sad, or I want to talk, my sugar honey iced tea, and it comes as the song. I'll listen to a song and I'm like, all right, that right there, I think I can do like a pop vibe to it. All right, a sad song, like I can do something that's, sad, or a breakup song, a love song, it depends on how.
It's diverse too, to be able to
you
try
can't
a
call
little
yourself
different
an artist if you're not very diverse with what you're doing.
Yeah, Chasity was asking me earlier, like, the type of music it is. Is it like, what genre? Is it R&B, pop?
How would you consider it?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Oh, so it's a free-for-all.
I call myself an artist. I do R&B, I do pop, I do freestyle, I do everything, a little bit of everything. So I don't want to put myself in like just one box.
Well, listen, girl, I can't wait to hear these performances.
Yes.
Listen,
Thank you. I can't wait to perform them.
Listen, before they put me in the Twilight Zone and make me go crazy, all right? Because I've gotten enough of that today on this show here, okay? But don't go anywhere, because Destinyy Nicole is about to do her thing by performing a couple of her singles. Let's thank you for that here. But listen, we'll be right back, y'all.
COVID is still out there, and so are you. Yep. And if your last vaccine was before September 2022, you're out there with fading protection. Get an updated COVID vaccine and stay out there safely.
Hey, performing her latest singles, Bubble Bath and Without You.
Give it up once again for
Destinyy Nicole!
Don't keep me waiting, this anticipation. I can't keep holding back from my thoughts of you. Love when you're inside, eating up through the night. You got me here thinking about you, about you, about you. In the bubble bath, thinking about you, about you, about you. You got me here thinking about you. About you, about you, think about you, about you, about you. Want you to come through so I can love you. I wanna touch you, but you're not here with me. Have to use my mind, 'cause you're not by my side. I wanna make love to you, to you. About you, you got me here thinking about you, about you, in the bubble bath thinking about you, about you. Boy, I've been around and I know that you ain't the same. Said I know that you ain't, I can tell just by your face. It's the way that you walk and you talk, how you say my name. And I can't get enough with you, I spend all of my days. You got me wrapped around your finger, you know just how to guide me back to you. I just have to know if this love is true. If this love is true. I can't see a future without you. Tell me, boy, what else am I to do? Said when my whole world revolves around you, around you. Seen you from across the room and I know that I said I wanna take you in, boy, ready to be your wife. And it don't matter when I'm ready to beat all lies. Just promise you won't fold on me when shit gets tough. Said meet me down the Island Point 5. Said boy, you should've said goodnight. And I should've said goodbye. Boy, I've been around and I know that you ain't the same. I know that you ain't, I can tell just by your ways. It's the way that you walk can you talk how you say my name? I can't get enough with you, I spend all my girl. Got me wrapped around your finger. Said, boy, you got know just how to get me back to you. Said you got me back to you. I just have to know if this love is true. If this love is true. If this love is true. Yeah. I can't see a future without you. But without you, boy. Tell me, boy, what am I gonna do when my whole world revolves around you? Around you. Boy, you've been around and I know that you ain't the same. I know that you ain't, I can tell just by your ways. It's the way that you walk and you talk, how you say my name. I can't get enough with you.
Amazing! You did great!
Thank you guys.
Your voice is amazing.
I sit down for after that, but listen, give me up for Destinyy, Nicole.
Operation Wonder Park is a go! There's nothing more powerful than imagination. But don't just imagine. Use STEM to change the world.
Who's with me?
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Talk to your doctor about creating a plan that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
So, we're still recovering from this romantic performance. So listen, the social medias are. We only got less than a minute.
I am Destinyy Nicole, DESTINYYNICOLE.
Follow out.
I'm pointing at you, Chasity.
Please follow out at I'm Just Valid _
And check us out at the Spotlight M&N. Thanks for a great show. We're out of time. Have a great week. Good luck. Be well. Be safe. Keep it real and 100. Take a little time to have fun. And thank you for joining us. I forgot to mention that. There's so much going on. Take a little time to have fun. Good luck. Be well. Be safe. Take a little time to have fun. Enjoy this Spotlight. Thank you.